Welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year's 2022. I've been in West Texas and Midland and Odessa for a few weeks working. Actually been going back and forth for a few months, so haven't had a chance to post a video, but I'm actually here in Midland walking around checking out these houses that they build about 1,000 at a time. Looks like they knock them out pretty quickly. They get them done in a few months, and so yeah, I kind of wanted to give you guys a tour of these houses. So I've got some friends that are buying these houses here, so I'm just checking out the ones that they're buying. And I checked out my brother's. He lives here in Texas, and his was built in 16. And I checked out some of the older builds and everything to see how the construction has progressed over time. And it was actually a little bit better than I thought. I mean, there's some good things and some bad things, but let me show you around a little bit. So it's pretty typical construction, except they sheathe these with the Real Light cardboard product. And it's really windy here in Texas, so the wind is already blowing it off. You can see that the nails are real short. I don't know if I can grab that thing or not. These real short, dinky nails don't really have anything to hold them into the board. Some nails have a knurling or some way to bite into the board. But so the wind that kicked up today, these things are already kind of popping off the sheathing. If you get lined up, you can actually see on a lot of these. I'll look around. They miss nails quite a bit. So that's a miss. That's a miss. So there's a lot of places that they'll miss nails. There's actually one spot in this house that they missed it a lot. Dust blows around. This house actually isn't too bad. I'll show you my friends next door. Not sure. This looks like a dead space here, so I'm assuming, I don't know how that works, but I'm assuming they're going to put, no, the water's on this side. Don't know what that is, but that's just a total dead space that looks like they're going to sheetrock in. So on the house in Fort Worth, it was built in 2006. And the framing was a lot worse, so they didn't use any of these metal hurricane ties or whatever they are, the strapping. They were just nailed together, and it wasn't really that good of a job. There was a lot of them that were missing. These rafters they were falling over in the attic, and they weren't holding up anything. The framing was pretty bad on that house when I got up in the attic. The funny part is when they're finished, from the interior or exterior, you can't tell that there's any flaws. Their finish carpenters are freaking excellent. So they do a lot better on framing on these new houses. I was actually pretty shocked. I was expecting it to be a little bit worse. The electrical's kind of crazy to me. They just flop that stuff all over in the attic, and it's not really tied up, organized, or anything like that. Looks pretty good inside of the stud bays, but that's because they usually have to make sure they don't screw into them. I don't know if they mark them or what. I don't see any nailers or anything to prevent them from nailing into them. So I guess they only care about water when they do that. So yeah, there's the concrete. I noticed that they're doing a post-tension slabs. There's no rebar. And I guess that's, pretty decent for Texas. They have clay, though, so if those things pop and crack, they're going to be a lot harder to repair in the future. Yeah, the vents, they changed that in 2006. They were doing a blow-in insulation from what I've seen in my brother's neighborhood. They're doing a spray foam. And if you also go to the garage, that was the big difference. My brother's attic was about 120 degrees on Christmas. And so I couldn't imagine how hot it would be in the summer. But so they're actually blocking off the garage and the house, spray foaming all of the house, not insulating anything in the garage at all. But they're actually doing an air barrier. I'm assuming that's a new code that they changed. So I think these are 5-foot tall sheets. I've never seen a 5-foot sheetrock, but this is like a 8-foot, 9-foot ceiling in these houses. They build, I looked at one house, this was super wobbly. I'm not sure how they're bolting those down, but it almost looked like they were relying on the cabinets to stabilize those. Yeah, I wanted to show one other part of this. I noticed some stuff over here, so that's just dust blowing and everything. It's shocking how well these things clean up. I've been going around to a new house, and on the exterior, I could feel a lot of wind blowing through the outlets and everything. So this wall blew off already. There's one on the other side that blew off, but you can see they just get crazy with the nail gun. They miss just as many nails. Look at that guy up there. I'm not. Oh, I can't zoom in, but they miss just as many nails. There was one other spot here. Oh, yeah. They miss just as much as they put in. Pretty damn good at what they do. So, see, that's what I don't understand. These nails could, I guess it wouldn't affect it too terribly much, but seems like if they drilled this like they did that close, that nail would definitely get into this electrical. So 2x4s are pretty eaten up. I'd say about half of them are brand new, nice looking, and about half of them are pretty well eaten up. They kind of use everything for material. They don't really seem to throw anything out. These houses are all wired for some smart home stuff, and that stuff is just strung throughout the attic. Another wall that popped off here. I mean, this, you can see it's already warping. Rain's probably getting to it. Take a look at the outside here real quick. So I just thought this would be an interesting video to make. I enjoy looking at this stuff. So they actually air seal it. I'm assuming that's code. They leave the windows open while they build, probably from the moisture from the sheetrock tape and texture. They overlap these boards. They don't air seal the overlap, which on most of these overlaps you can see right into the house, but they don't seal those overlaps. Oh, the concrete was another thing I noticed that on the other house, this one's already, you can see the post tension is already sealed up. They've already tensioned it, sealed it. So this is my friend's house here. They're doing a lot of exterior on-demand water heaters, which are going to freeze and break. You can see their concrete was either too wet or too dry. I'm not sure. I don't know too much about concrete, but they definitely didn't care too much when pouring to consolidate the foundation and everything. I don't see too much through here. Let's see. So these are vents to the attic. Kind of interesting that they're putting their insulation at the roof, but they're still venting the attics, which is a little bit crazy to me. I'm not sure how that works. So slabs that are poured out here that didn't have a good base when they poured them. Those are probably going to end up chipping off the driveways. They do not put any rebar at all on the driveways. Sorry, it's West Texas. It's really windy here. So this one's already taped and textured. Let's take a walk through here real quick, see what we can see. One thing I noticed, I mean, that's not super bad, but they don't, they seal these. They don't really worry about the outlets at all. There's some pretty crazy things I've seen on outlets here. So They fill the ducts are wide open while they do this. They probably get full of tape and texture, mud and dust. So all these plugins, they just fill full of mud, which would be a pain in the butt for a carpenter in the future. But yeah, their penetrations are pretty bad. You can see they just not super round. They just knock a hole through that plastic. That's for the vent for the stove, I guess. Let's walk back here to the vents. Like I said, all the vents are full of tape and texture. Go in here in the mud. They just basically pile these outlets full of mud. I feel bad for the electricians, but obviously they deal with that every day. So they actually cleaned up since the last time they came and scraped. There was when they, between the floating stage and the texture stage, this thing was just piled full. I'm not sure why they do that. There's a copper one for the toilet. Not sure how they sealed that off, but they connect there somehow. They seal the drains. Not sure if these drains are just open. Oh, they got a seal there. So it's a mixture of copper and PVC, or CPVC, or PEX. No, sorry, PEX. It's probably PEX, yeah. Another outlet completely packed full of mud. But yeah, this construction is pretty interesting. They got tape and textures all over the windows. Their cleaning people are obviously amazing. These houses are only maybe 10, 12 feet apart, something like that. So what amazed me is I looked at these houses and I'm like, man, there's no way they could pull this off. You know, this has got to look terrible when it's done. And you go look at all these houses that are finished, and they look really good inside. Their finish carpenters are really good. So this is a look at a finished model. Like I said, everything's pretty much flawless by the time they're done. You can't really find any mistakes at all. Pretty good looking houses. So they've already started to landscape a little bit. I guess they plant grass back here. Somehow they hang brick. I got no idea how they do it, but they hang brick off that cardboard stuff. They're really damn good at it. They get the tubs clean, they get the drains clean. They are very good at what they do. I just kind of surprised my friend bought one with, seeing how they build it. He's worked with me for a long time, and he's very good at knowing the quality and knowing how to do things. But as he puts it, he don't care. He's only in Midland for a few years, and he's out of here. So they do, I don't know if they opted for a water softener. So the garages are not insulated at all. They don't insulate. I don't even think they insulate these walls. They definitely don't insulate the ceiling or the roof. I don't know how that audio is going to turn out. So hot water heater, expansion valve, drains right outside. But I would worry about these things freezing. Doesn't freeze in Texas often, but when it does, it goes through here and destroys a lot of things. A lot of people have problems with that once every 10 years or so. Here's part of the smart home. Not sure. I think you can turn on and off interior lights and exterior lights and do the locks and everything with through your phone wherever you're at in the world. So yeah, hope you kind of enjoyed looking. I know a lot of people have looked through these houses. Obviously, there's tens and thousands of people moving into Midland, Odessa, Fort Worth, Dallas, all that stuff. But it's just interesting to me. Definitely a different world than where I'm from. We don't have neighborhoods like this. We have big pieces of property with one house on 100 acres. But so I just want to kind of give you guys a look around. We'll see on the next one. I might do a few videos. I'm living in a man camp here and driving around my F550 and doing fleet management for a few companies. So hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.